What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of the HoopZone. Sorry for the little delay, but
That's my bad. Sorry, I've been extremely sick the last 2 weeks. Bedridden. Couldn't do this. Tried fighting through, tried getting the podcast done. Couldn't happen. I apologize.
But we are back and better than ever with some great information to discuss today.
Oh, yes.
Lots happened in
a
the
lot
NBA
has
world,
happened in the last 2 weeks.
and we're ready to talk about it. So I think the first topic, if we just jump right in, we're going to discuss some of the biggest risers and fallers from week 1 in the NBA. Or not week 1 in the NBA. It's been a little bit.
Last few weeks.
Yeah, the last few weeks. So I think the Celtics are probably the biggest riser in the NBA. Got a lot of doubters, and as a Celtics fan, got to say, very impressed with how we've started the season. We are currently first in turnover rate, so we're not turning over the ball. We're being very efficient on offense. Even though Jason Tatum's kind of struggled with his shot a little bit, we've looked very good and balanced. Gordon Hayward back and better than ever. Jaylen Brown proving those doubters wrong, making his contract really kind of worth it.
Big fan of Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's always been good, in my opinion. I think he's got more potential than Jason Tatum.
I wouldn't say that. I think Jason Tatum's game has more potential because Brown is a very kind of straight line player. He has a lot of kind of straight line drives to the basket.
Defensive mindset rather than Tatum's more offensive.
Tatum's good on defense. He has good instincts. Gets a lot of steals in the lane. But I can see what you're saying. Jaylen Brown definitely is a better on-ball defender at this point in his career.
He adds a lot to that team. I feel like he's a big part, especially with Gordon Hayward's injury now. Celtics are still holding on to that now 10-game streak. Pretty impressive, especially the start of the season. Could we see something like the Warriors maybe? If they keep winning and they don't lose, another insane season maybe of it. Can we see a contest to the Warriors' record?
I wouldn't go that far. I don't think talent-wise the Celtics are at the level of that Warriors team. I think they're as deep. I think they're very deep. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this rookie class. I think it's one of the most underrated rookie classes kind of in the NBA.
I mean, yeah, if Carson Edwards starts developing and they use him more, I feel like he can add a lot. Taco Fall, Fall comes out of nowhere.
I think Grant Williams is the biggest player, or is the biggest rookie on that team right now. I mean, he's already gotten a ton of minutes, a lot of trust from Brad Stevens, and he really kind of fits the Brad Stevens mold.
Yep.
Stevens loves those guys who can kind of switch and play multiple positions, and Grant Williams really does that well. He's a big hustle player. His shot hasn't been falling, but, I mean, that can be expected for a rookie coming in.
What about an addition? I've heard some rumors about maybe adding Steven Adams. How do you think that would add to the team?
I think that'd be big because right now the one hole on the Celtics is a big kind of interior defensive
and
game
Kanter
presence.
is not a great defender.
He's not, but I will say that Kanter hasn't played much this year because of injury, but in the game against the 76ers, we looked really good against Embiid. Like, we did not lose that game because of our interior defense.
Yeah, I did see that. I feel like Kanter actually played pretty well in that game.
He played well, but I think more than anything, Steven's defensive system really helped us out. We were doubling every single time Embiid got the ball, and then because like the rest of our defense is so kind of athletic and lengthy, we were able to really kind of switch and move around well and recover from that double team. And I think that's kind of the biggest way we can kind of nullify a lot of the big paint presences in the NBA without a guy like Steven Adams, but obviously he would definitely help.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Another team that's impressed me a lot is the Suns. I watched the Suns single-handedly beat down my Nets. Not a great thing to watch. You see the Suns as one of the worst teams in the NBA, which I'm telling you people, not the case anymore. The addition of Rubio has changed that team so much. He's distributing that ball quite well. He's looking very good on the offensive side as well. Devin Booker, definitely an all-star this year, in my opinion. I feel like if they keep up this record, there's no doubt in my mind. No one saw this coming, I can tell you that. Aaron Baines is going off, drilling every three-pointer in his sight. It's just something just so fascinating to watch, like a team. It kind of reminds me almost of the Nets. The Nets had a slow start last year, but before they were seen as one of the worst teams, and they became a playoff team in a single year.
Yeah, I think this is an even bigger turnaround, though, because you look at guys like Dario Saric, Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, Frank Kaminsky. I mean, these are guys who were written off in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
These are guys who no one expected anything from, and they're coming out and they're really performing well.
And they all have a lot of talent. Frank the Tank, man, he was a high draft pick. He always had that talent. He just never clicked, and I feel like it's starting to click now. Saric had the opportunity, didn't really have the opportunity on the 76ers. After the trade, I feel like this is a good spot for him. He's going to get a lot of minutes, and he brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really understand it. is just kind of a big shock. And even without DeAndre Ayton, I mean, Ayton's only played one game, and this team still looks like a potential playoff team. Get Ayton back.
Could that be actually one of the reasons? I feel like Aaron Baines brings another aspect to the game. He brings that 3-ball, where DeAndre Ayton is more of just a natural big man.
Yeah.
Also, someone we left out talking about right now is Kelly Oubre,
He's playing great.
He's been playing amazing. He played great last year. He's still pulling those numbers up. He's a great second option in that offense in the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's allowed Devin Booker to kind of play a little more off ball too.
Oh yeah, and him and Rubio definitely.
Yeah, having Rubio there allows him to play a little more off ball. Allows him to play the natural shooting guard position, whereas before he kind of had a lot of point guard responsibilities.
Which is not what he is.
Which is not his natural inclination at all.
And just score.
We'll see. I gotta admit that I'm not sold on them. I do not really think it's gonna last that long. I think they're gonna be a fringe playoff team. I don't think they're gonna make it. I don't think they have the talent to make it, and they had a hot start, but a lot of teams have a hot start.
Very competitive Western Conference. It's going to be hard to do, but
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen, so.
We've seen crazier things happen. They played a very fast pace, though, and a lot of teams now in the NBA are kind of upping the pace, playing almost that Chino Hills style of basketball. And so it fits kind of the modern NBA. And so you never know. You never know. If they keep it up, they could sneak in the playoffs.
Young team, so.
Next team I want to talk about, Minnesota Timberwolves. A lot of team that no one really saw coming. The record isn't like incredible or anything, but we've seen a lot of progression, which is very surprising. Specifically, Andrew Wiggins. A big comeback year, averaging 26 points per game. Could be an all-star if he keeps it up, if he keeps playing this way.
I wouldn't take it that far, but Andrew Wiggins is proving all the haters wrong at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Karl Anthony Towns really looks like he's taken that next step.
He might be he's looking at almost as an all-star starter, in my opinion. He's gonna fight for that spot. I think he can.
Oh, yeah.
He's looking, his 3 balls looking crazy good this year.
I mean, he's shooting 9 threes a game. For a center, that's unheard of.
For anyone, that's big. What did James Harden shoot last year? 12?
I have no clue. He shot a lot there.
He shot a lot, but 9 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And what's his 3-point percentage?
He is currently shooting 42.5%.
Oh my.
Being very efficient from the 3 at center.
Oh, that's deadly.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Is deadly. And he's a shifty big man, so it's hard for a lot of big men to guard him on the perimeter, and that's dangerous. That is really dangerous.
I really think he could become the best player in the NBA.
He's got the potential. He's got the talent for sure. Yeah. He's a Jersey boy, so he definitely's got the talent.
That's not why, but that's not why he can be the best player. But I mean, he's definitely got a lot of potential. I think he can become better than Giannis one day, just because he already has that 3-ball.
Yeah, he's got the.
He has the length,
more of the skills. Yeah,
he has the strength. I think playmaking is the next big thing, but even he's improved on that, averaging 4 assists a game. He's still doing very well. And I think one of the big keys for the Timberwolves is actually Robert Covington. I mean, that is a guy every single team needs.
3-and-D, baby. 3-and-D.
Yeah, 3-and-D. And they're deep. It's not like they're just led by Cat and Andrew Wiggins, Jake Layman, Jeff Teague. I mean, they have veterans, guys who play hard, play the right way, play well. And they also have some young guys, too, like the guy from Texas Tech, Jarrett Culver, got Josh Okogie. I mean, they're deep. They can make some waves.
Another team that could be in the fringe of making a playoff spot.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, some players maybe we were talking about who are just playing extremely well this year. A couple that we actually predicted in our first episode. Brandon Ingram's continuing to have a hot start to the year. Same with Derrick Rose and Brogdon.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram, my most improved player pick. Just want to point that out.
Hey, I mean, still possible, still a possibility.
Oh, I think if he keeps up the stat line, he should win it. I mean, averaging 26 points per game. He was very critiqued for his injuries, and he's coming out, he's proving everyone wrong, distributing the ball well. He has point guard talent, and he's really kind of showing it off now. He's showing off that shot creator talent, and he's really kind of taken the lead on a Pelicans team when Zion went out.
I mean, that's a big spot to fill there, especially with all the hype with Zion, and he's doing a decent job of filling it. Another player I feel like that we just didn't reference there is Eric Pascal. I mean, someone I predicted to have an insane rookie year, and he has not disappointed. He's literally the second best option on that Warriors team at the moment, behind D'Lo, and he's another player that he wasn't a high draft pick, guys. It goes to see that the NBA draft is not always correct, and it's
what did you like about his game? When you saw him, like, what made you think him?
Just watching it, I feel like he had the skills to do it. He's a smaller guy. He can guard all 5 positions, which is a great defensive skill to have. Someone like Draymond, but on the offensive side, I don't know. It's just his intelligence. I feel like he knows where to be at all times. He's always in the right spot for D'Lo or someone else to distribute the ball to him, and he's great at driving. And he's got the shot. He's got a decent shot. So, I mean, he's got the skills to keep developing, and maybe he can. He's got a Draymond type body. He doesn't have the same like play style as Draymond, but he's a more of a higher volume scorer than Draymond, and less of a distributor. But I feel like he has a decent chance to have a good NBA career.
Yeah. Talk about intelligence. Malcolm Brogdon, a very, very, very smart player.
Oh, yes.
He's not incredibly athletic. He's not incredibly gifted in his ball handling. He's not going to be the flashiest, most highlight-filled player. But, I mean, he's really smart. And the Bucks really dropped the ball on this one. People didn't think Brogdon was going to be able to come out and kind of have the season that he's had. He's averaging 8.2 assists, upped his assists by 5. I think he could be another most improved player of the year contender, and he is pretty much single-handedly, him and Sabonis has kept the Pacers afloat when guys like Turner has gone out and Oladipo's gone out.
Well, do you think the Bucks dropped the ball? Because let's be real, the Bucks are 8-3. They're not having a bad year. Do they need him? Is the real question. Was he necessary to keep on that team to pay a decent amount of money for?
Over Eric Bledsoe, I would take Malcolm Brogdon over Eric Bledsoe any day of the week. Brogdon's younger. He is a little more talented on the offensive end. He doesn't have the grit that Eric Bledsoe does. But I think especially with Giannis, he's a guy who can space the floor, and I feel like he's very talented. And they kept even Brook Lopez over Malcolm Brogdon, which I don't think that makes sense.
Come on, it's Splash Mountain.
It doesn't make sense.
He's my guy.
It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you keep him over Malcolm Brogdon, guy who won Rookie of the Year, a guy who the Bucks had said up until that point that they were not going to let go, that they were going to keep him. They weren't involving him in any trade rumors. And that was one of their main guys going forward, and then you let him walk for Brook Lopez.
Because they want to keep the spacing on the floor, and I feel like Brook Lopez does that for that team.
But you can find that. A stretch 5 is much more replaceable than a guy with the talent that Malcolm Brogdon has. And it's much more long-lasting.
A stretch 5 that has the same efficiency from the 3 as Brook Lopez?
There could be a drop-off, but it's not going to be as significant as having the drop-off from Malcolm Brogdon. Like, this kid's talented. People are underestimating him. Yeah. And he plays the right way. He's not flashy, but he plays the right way.
All right, let's start talking about maybe some of the fallers of some teams that surprised us of not doing well. Of course, you know, we have the Warriors, who I hope to have a good season. Had with some injuries, some bad injuries. Steph Curry coming down with that wrist injury, broken wrist. Hand or wrist?
Broken hands.
Broken hand. Of course, a tough injury for the Warriors. He's their star player. A lot of people had him winning the MVP this year. That's not going to happen. Not even sure if he's going to play anymore this year. They might sit him out for the season.
Could be season ending.
Not a season-ending injury, but they might just want to rest him.
Yeah.
So I mean, D'Lo he's still putting up the numbers. He's just not enough.
It's not. D'Lo's not going to be able to carry them.
He doesn't have enough supporting cast around him.
His numbers are because he's putting up like 25 shots a game. Like, let's be real.
That's because they need him to.
Yeah, but it's not like as impressive as another guy doing it. It's not as impressive as like Devin Booker putting up similar numbers.
I mean, it's pretty similar to what Devin Booker was doing in the past.
Yeah, in the past. This year though, like Devin Booker
That's different.
It's different. But I mean, Golden State, like, you gotta feel bad for them.
It's a big drop off. It's a big drop off from being top of the world to now last placed. It's hard to watch, actually.
I think the Warriors have had the worst, I believe it was 6-game stretch in NBA history.
Is it actually?
Because Klay Thompson, going back.
Yes. Injury wise, yes, yeah, definitely.
Klay Thompson tears his ACL.
KD,
Achilles injury. Then you have Steph go down. You have them lose their first games of the year.
Ugh.
Like, it's been brutal for the Warriors, but I think that could be a blessing in disguise for them.
I mean, it could be, because if they get that high draft pick, they get lucky in the lottery. Because I don't feel like they're going to end up as the last team in the. I don't think they have the worst record in the NBA. I don't think that's going to be a possibility.
I think they might.
I think they could have a top, one of the bottom 5 records. But I don't think they're going to be the worst record. And I think they have, with the new lottery, the odds, yeah, the new lottery odds. Anyone could jump up to that one spot, as we saw with the the Pelicans this year. I was actually somehow I predicted them to get that one spot with the
Did you?
The 1.2%. I have the DMs to do it.
Okay, we'll see. I don't know about if you really predicted
I
that,
mean, I
but
could show you 3 hours before the draft. I DM my friend. I go
before the lottery.
for the lottery. I go Pelicans are gonna win this lottery. I just felt like that was a good spot for him. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I just
Is the
just said
lottery
it.
rigged? No, that's a question.
He was a Knicks fan, so I definitely just wanted him to feel bad.
That's a big question. Is the lottery rigged? You had the Patrick Ewing draft, the Derrick
Oh,
Rose
that was
draft.
rigged.
Yeah, that was definitely rigged.
That was rigged. We all
You
know
saw
that was
the
rigged.
videos of him. Look up these videos if you haven't seen them. They're actually very interesting. but-
The frozen envelope.
Yeah, or he took the envelope, he banged it against the side of the.
I mean, the frozen envelope or the bent corner envelope. Yeah, whatever you want to, whatever your conspiracy theory was, but something was not up there. Something was definitely up there because the Knicks needed that star player,
Yeah.
and they gave it to him.
But I mean, the Warriors say they get like James Wiseman in the draft next year, fill a big hole.
That's a big hole.
He's an NBA ready prospect. He's not getting time to develop. You get Steph back.
Think about the roster next year.
You get Steph back. You get Clay back. You get a top prospect.
You still have D'Lo as well.
D'Lo and Draymond.
Steph, D'Lo, Clay, Draymond, and then Wiseman. That is one of the deadliest lineups that would be in the NBA.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a mid-level exception to kind of get another good role player.
They're
going
gonna
to
have some veterans. They're gonna put some veterans in that bench.
Yeah, hopefully they can they get Kevon Looney back, another guy who's been out.
They're
Who's a
still
big
gonna have
guy.
Pascal. Pascal's gonna keep developing.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they could be very good next year.
They always have that option. Yeah.
Imagine the Warriors just take 1 year off. They take 1 year off and then just come
Back on
and
top.
win the chip again.
Oh, that's definitely a possibility. Something I've seen very sad. The Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Very sad at the moment. I think they're leading the league in turnovers. Not looking good on the defensive side. Also, I think leading the league in points per game. Not a good balance though. Not a good plus minus. Pretty bad. Not looking great for them. Kyrie, he's not the problem. He's not the problem. It's the entire team. It's them not playing all together, I think. I think their systems just got to keep building it. They're going to build some new relations with players. We had a lot of players leave. It's a very new team. It's still a very new team.
So now the excuses start coming out.
It's not an excuse.
Okay,
I think they're gonna get better. I think they're gonna be better in the next couple of games. We saw them lose 2 15-point leads in the last 2 games to the Jazz and to the Nuggets. 2 games they should have won. They win those games if they limit those turnovers at the end of the game, and they don't allow them to go on large runs. If they do that, they're gonna start winning games. They're gonna get hot. And the East is always open up for some teams.
I remember you saying last episode that the Nets were going to have a better record than the Boston Celtics.
It's still a possibility.
Is there anything you want to say?
Very early.
I was right, maybe just a little
It
bit.
is very early in the year.
They do not look like a
Very-
championship
it is
caliber
very early.
team right now.
So there's only 11 games played.
But
for
you
the
can tell a
Celtics.
lot. You can tell a lot about the flow of the team. I get that the chemistry might not be there, but heck, the Celtics had a huge turnover. The Celtics had probably a bigger turnover than the Nets did.
How many players did you guys keep?
I don't know exactly, but we lost our leader. We lost our biggest leader in Al Horford. We lost our most talented player in Kyrie Irving. We lost another big vocal point in that locker room.
I
in
thought
Marcus
Kyrie
Morris.
Irving was the problem though.
He was a problem, but he's our most talented player. And heck, maybe Kyrie Irving.
He's not the problem. They all love him there. He's having great
Allegedly,
relationships.
there
They all love
there
him.
was a report. There was a report that there was already
Kyrie
disputes.
and LeVert are great friends. He's great friends with DeAndre Jordan and KD.
We'll see.
Dinwiddie doesn't have a problem with anyone.
There was already a report though that the Nets were quote unquote concerned about Kyrie Irving's
No,
mood
that
swings.
that was a lie. That was some
A lie?
It
Really?
was 100%. They were talking about upper management, which they came out and said they never said that.
That's what they're gonna say though. It's a PR game. It's a PR game.
But why would they say that? They don't think they're obviously they're going to be like more aware since there were so many reports on this Boston, but they're not giving that consideration. All the players in the Nets were like KD made a joke about it, like, oh yeah, we have to really make sure he's a real jerk in the locker room, but a great player in court.
All
Joking around.
jokes are based a little bit out of some truth.
They're all like best friends.
Allegedly.
Joking
I mean,
around.
he looked like he was best friends with the Celtics too.
Well,
Like
he came to the Nets to play with his best friends. That's a fact.
all I know is that the reports don't lie. they're definitely.
What do you mean they don't lie?
Okay,
anyone can
objectively,
say anything.
there would be some concern about his attitude. Like, that's a fair thing to say.
Well, I mean, but I don't think they would have come out and say that.
They didn't. There was like inside reports, and then they came out and said that those reports were wrong.
I don't think it means anything. I don't think anyone. I think Kenny Atkinson even came out and said that he's not worried about anything. He's worried about how their team is performing.
What do you want him to say?
Not about his attitude.
But what do you want him to say?
He that's what he wants to say. Is that he doesn't? He's not concerned.
That's what he has to say.
He's not concerned about his attitude though. He's concerned about his playing.
But that's what he says.
On court is what's important to him at the moment, and we're not performing on court, and that's what he's worried about.
Your chemistry just doesn't look there. Like, I gotta be honest.
That's because we have 4 returning players. That's a
Kyrie,
Katie, and DeAndre Jordan have never played together.
Okay, but I mean the Celtics had a huge turnover as well.
But you guys kept your starting lineup. Our starting lineup is different.
No, we didn't.
You still have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You have all these players that were still there.
So that you named 2 players. You named 2
all right.
players.
Wait, one player or 2 players.
We had
to
3
change
players in our starting lineup. So
your bench is
of our starting lineup
pretty
is
similar
different.
now.
No, that's not true. We lost our best bench player in Marcus Morris. Not our best bench player, but the only guys that we've kept from our bench is Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. And actually, is Jaylen Brown starting now?
I think
he might be starting. Yeah.
Because Gordon Hayward as well. You still kept Gordon Hayward, who's now injured, but.
Yeah, but there were so many questions about the Celtics heading into the year about how this team was going to fit together. Hayward has shown that he can come together. And honestly, you take out Kyrie Irving. I know Kyrie Irving was a problem on that team last year. They did not fit well. Objectively, they did not fit well.
I don't think he liked upper management there. I don't think he liked people also on his team.
Based on what?
Based on some reports as well that said that they were arguing with Jason Tatum, and I'm pretty sure Jason Tatum and him did not have a great relationship.
No, are you kidding? There were so many reports that Jason Tatum was the only person he really kind of
was it?
Yes, it was the opposite.
All right. Everyone else didn't like.
Yeah,
him.
it was no, it was him and Jaylen Brown. He didn't like Jaylen Brown because I'll tell you what, Jaylen Brown is the smartest.
He's a very smart player. Isn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't he in charge of the NBA players?
I think that's Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul's in charge.
I thought Jaylen.
He's a rep.
He's a rep. All right, he's something.
Yeah, and so when they're talking about these flat Earth theories, Jaylen Brown's just schooling Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving's getting his ego hurt. Like, I'm telling you, Kyrie Irving, there are similar tendencies to how the Nets look now to how the Celtics looked at the end of last year. He didn't fit on that
team. He fits on this team because he's with the players he wants to be with.
But what evidence do you have that his play style fits with this team right now?
It's not the play style. I'm talking more about his relationships with players.
Okay, then let's talk about the play style.
The play style is not working right now. They're gonna have to fit back into it. I'm telling you, they eliminate the turnovers, play better defense, and they're gonna win games because they're scoring the ball. They're just not playing defense, and they're just losing the ball. That's literally the problem at the moment.
Yeah, but you can't just say let's just fix that. I mean, their play style is conducive to turnovers. Like, they look kind of sloppy right now.
It is. It's sloppiness. If you look at the turnover, it is just bad ball. They're just playing bad basketball at the moment.
Do you think the solution starts with Kenny Atkinson, or do you think it starts with the players and Kyrie Irving as a leader?
I think Kyrie Irving's working. I think Kenny's just got to get back into him. Kenny, we saw last year, he's a great coach. Sean Marks, great GM. The management has just been incredible. I think it's it might be a combination. I feel like Kyrie, I've definitely heard reports of Kyrie being a great leader on the court and off the court at the moment. I think if he continues that, he gets, the young core, they lost some veterans that they loved. Jared Dudley, great. Everyone loved Jared Dudley last year. Losing him, he was a great leader for the team. I think Kyrie Irving's got to keep stepping up to that veteran role and kind of show him the ropes. And I think if he keeps doing that, I think they're going to get back on track. It's definitely something we can't predict at the moment. They could definitely also keep falling as they are right now. But from what I've seen on the offensive standpoint, and then they're putting up the numbers, they're just losing the ball and not playing great defense. I feel like they could change that, and that's something that you can easily change and become one of the top teams in the East.
We'll see. I'm not sold on the Nets at all. I think that...
Of course you're not.
Well, I just think that the reports are all going to be skewed.
That's what all Celtics fans want.
Is the Nets to fail?
Yes, they don't...
Maybe just a little bit.
It's because of Kyrie.
No, I still like Kyrie as a player. I don't blame him for leaving. He wanted to go home. He didn't leave because he hated the Celtics. He left because he wanted to go home.
I mean, it could have been a combination a little bit.
Well, his report is that he told Danny Ainge, he said, I want to go home. He said, I'm going home.
Yep.
And you can't blame a man for that. So I respect him. I respect
He
his
saw a
decision.
bigger opportunity on the Nets.
I think the Celtics are better off and the Nets are better off. I think in the end, it was a win-win.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch in the next couple of weeks.
We'll see. Last team I want to talk about, the Sacramento Kings have looked very, very, very poor to start the year. Obviously, they lost Marvin Bagley out extremely early, which has definitely hurt them. But I think the biggest takeaway is that Luke Walton does not look like an NBA caliber coach right now.
I mean, let's also look at this. They're starting to come back up a little bit. They did start the year awful. They're now over the Trailblazers, who are a team that people actually also were down on. So,
you look at them; they're 28th in pace right now, 24th in defensive rating. Like, they are a very, very slow team.
Which is something very interesting because they have some very fast players. De'Aaron Fox, known as the fastest player in the NBA.
That's what I think. Their roster is not meant to be one of these slow grinder teams.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because to be that way, you got to be stout on defense. You need to be able to shut down your opponents, and the Kings right now can't do that. They aren't doing that.
I may be completely wrong here, but weren't they one of the best transition teams last year?
They have one of the best transition point guards in the NBA.
And they have Buddy Hield, who they just got to pop the ball out to in that three.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have depth. Like, talent-wise, they're not as good as they were last year.
No, they're not. But I feel like De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield are a pretty good young duo for that team, and I think they keep developing. And De'Aaron Fox looked great last year. He keeps that up. I mean, that team has a chance to be back up on top like they were back in, 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah, back in the days of, like, Peja, Mike Bibby.
That was a fun
Chris
team to
Webber.
watch.
Yeah, that was a fun team to watch. But, I mean, even that team played a very, very fast style as well. That team was one of the big revolutionary teams in the NBA with that really fast pace, and they really played they were ahead of their time.
Mm-hmm.
I would say them and also that Phoenix Suns team with Steve Nash, they played at a very fast pace as well. And I don't know, a lot of teams like the Rockets play at an extremely fast pace. They don't play much defense. They shoot the ball very quickly, and they
that's
put up a ton
something
of
that you
points.
expect from that team, and it's a very similar. They have James Harden and Russell Westbrook, two of the fastest paced players in the league. So they're expected to be like that, and you expect the same thing from the Kings. They have two of those players that play similar, not obviously in the same level, but kind of similarly pace wise.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to move on to?
Oh, actually, I just want to put one more thing out there. I know I would get some hate if I didn't say this. Luka Doncic having a great year.
Oh yeah,
putting up insane numbers.
He's been insane. He's been incredible.
MVP numbers in the moment. If Mavs get into the top 5, maybe top 4 of the West, there's no doubt in my mind he wins MVP.
I don't think they're gonna get that high. I think they're playing like a playoff team right now. Their depth has actually impressed me. I've been very impressed with DeLon Wright, especially. Maxi Kleber has looked very good.
You gotta love Maxi. Come on.
Yeah, they have. They're deep. They're deeper than I thought they were at first, and they definitely look like a playoff team right now.
Now, what do you think? You think if they make the playoffs, a lower playoff seed, do you think Luka wins the MVP if he keeps?
No.
If he averages 29 points with a triple double?
No.
No.
You can't win MVP unless you finish in the top.
So it's kind of like a Russell
4.
Westbrook thing. Like Russell won in his 1 year, but he's not winning it anymore, even though he's averaging that triple double.
Yeah, like the record is one of the big kind of requirements.
It is a big thing.
Yeah, but I mean, the Mavs could be very, very good. I'd say 2 years. If they can attract one more free agent, I think they still have the capability of getting a max roster spot for this next upcoming offseason. And I feel like they could be very, very talented.
I mean, who's in free agency next year? Is Giannis's free agency next year, or is it the year after?
I think, I don't really know. It's one of these next couple of years, though.
That's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, that's up in the air. I think if Giannis doesn't win a title there in the next couple of years.
Well, he said
he's leaving.
He said I believe, like, his paraphrasing it, obviously. He said if they don't finish as well as they could, it's going to be very, very hard for him to stay there.
I mean, I understand that. I can definitely feel his pain there. But what we've seen in the past is foreign players are a lot more loyal. Like, a lot more loyal than American players.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to have a factor in it. I mean, that the Bucks gave him a shot, and he kind of feels at home there. I mean, Milwaukee, not an amazing place to be living at.
It's not a big franchise by any means.
It's not, but he's made it into one a little bit.
Yeah, he's made it into a household name for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, you want to hit up our new segment we're having here called SOB, Spiders of Basketball. We're going to be discussing a little bit of the Richmond Spiders and how they've been playing. They're now 2-0, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Beating St. Francis their first game, and now just beating Vanderbilt, led by Scottie Pippen Jr., who had a very off game. Both overtime wins. Very fun games to watch, people. I think the Spiders have a shot to win their conference.
They could make the tournament this year for sure.
If they win their conference tournament, they're making. I mean, they have a shot to do that. I don't think they're going to get an outright bid. I don't think they're that talented.
No, they need to win their conference.
They gotta hope
That's the only
VCU
way.
doesn't win, and I feel like they could have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that these two games, even though Richmond's 2-0, it's been slightly discouraging to see their performance so far.
I mean, they've looked good. They've had spots where they looked really good and kind of unstoppable. They have the smallest backcourt in I think one, if not the smallest, one of the smallest in Division I basketball at the moment.
In Blake Francis and Jacob Gilliard.
Yeah, 6 foot and 5'9".
I think Gilliard's 5'9", I believe.
And by the way, Francis, I'm sorry, but your 6 foot's a little stretching it. You might be closer to like 5'10", 5'11".
Hey, give him the 6 feet. Everyone wants to be at 6 feet, so give him that.
But regardless, very small backcourt, and they're putting up the numbers. They're leading the team in points at the moment. Who else is?
Nick Sherrod had an incredible first game.
I think he was injured last year.
He's coming off an ACL injury, and he's looked very good.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a great player for them last year, and they had to rely on more of Grant Golden and Gilliard last year, and with his addition, Sherrod, and then what's his name?
Nathan Ko.
Oh, Nathan Ko. He's also shooting the ball. He can get very hot from three. We've seen that already.
I think he's more of an interior player, like getting dunks and stuff like that. But they definitely have a lot of three-point shooters in Blake Francis, Jacob Gilliard, and all of them.
I apologize. I was thinking of someone else.
That's okay. And another guy to keep an eye on is Mr. Andre Gustafson.
Oh, he had the game winner. He almost had the most insane game winner I've ever seen. I think Gilliard
Against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, against Vanderbilt. I think was it Gilliard who had the steal? Or was I think it was Gilliard. I think Gilliard had 7 steals that game.
Yeah, Gilliard's insane at defense.
He's like kind of like a Muggsy Bogues. Let's be real here.
not just because of the height. Not just because of the height.
Defensive, kind of like sneaky defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So Gilliard had the steal. He passed it up to Andre, and Andre went for the dunk. It would have been a crazy dunk, very powerful dunk. Got pushed from behind by Scottie Pippen Jr. Got the foul, made the clutch free throw to win the game.
Yeah, and so the next Richmond game is Sunday
Tomorrow,
at 4 p.m.
Yeah. Well, it'll be the day that this is posted. That should be an easy win. I don't even know who we're playing. Cal State, Northridge. If we lose that game, it's a problem. Let's be real here. Coming up, then we got McNeese State, another team, and then we got a tournament. We're in a tournament. It's held at Barclays. We got Wisconsin our first game. That's going to be very fun to watch. That might be nationally televised. I think it is.
I think it's on ESPN.
I think it's on ESPN. And then I think we play Boston?
We play Boston College, and I think in the tournament there's also a chance we play even like Auburn or something.
Auburn
like
or Houston, I feel like I think it was.
Is it Houston? I know Auburn's one of the two we
Yeah.
could play. I forgot the other one.
So I mean, Richmond basketball, might be back on the come up. Let's hope. I mean, I'm gonna hope that we got some young players. We have Tyler. What's his name?
Tyler Burton is a
yeah.
big freshman. He's
Tyler
one of the
Burton.
best recruits that we've really had in a long time.
In a long time, and he's got potential. He's got some long arms.
Very lengthy.
Put him in the end of the game, trying to get some steals.
I am shocked that he is the same age as both of us. That is not very fair. Mom and Dad, why couldn't you have made me like 6'7",
like really
muscular and just insane at basketball? But
I mean, that's me. You just described me, but
yeah, you should, Mike. You should walk on next year.
I think so. I think I have the ability to do that.
Yeah. If anyone from Richmond's watching this, get this man on the court.
Get me on here.
Yeah, yes, sir. All right. Do you want to move on to the next topic?
That was SOB.
A little segment, little new segment.
Little new segment we're gonna have. We're gonna be doing.
Yeah, just keep you in touch with Richmond basketball. Little hometown segment for y'all. So moving on to some big news around the NBA, just to keep y'all informed, make sure you're up to date with the news. Carmelo Anthony, big signing for Portland.
Wow. Yes, we were at the Richmond game while we got this news from Woj. Dropped the bomb on Twitter.
Woj bomb, another one.
Yeah, very big bomb. We've been expecting this, not to Portland actually. They were not one of the teams that kind of expected him to be signed to.
Well, it's kind of fun because you think back when Carmelo signed with OKC, he signed with OKC over Portland.
Yes. I just watched something. I think it was Damian Lillard on a talk show or something, or a podcast talking about how he just completely is like, oh yeah, I'm not going to Portland, and now he is. So I guess Portland was like the only team that gave him a shot.
But he could definitely take Portland to the next level. I think he's underrated. I think he's actually extremely talented. And Portland's biggest weakness right now is kind of at that power forward position. And Carmelo can really kind of fit into the modern NBA offense.
I mean, are you a Melo fan? I'm a younger Melo fan. I think Knicks Days not a big fan of Knicks Days and beyond.
You can't deny the numbers. Like, at the end of the day, Melo should be a Hall of Famer.
Did he help his teams?
Numbers.
Did he help his teams?
He has Hall of Fame numbers. He carried that Knicks team. I mean, with some playoff appearances. I mean, he obviously is not like a championship winner.
Empty playoffs appearances.
Okay, so like you're gonna say a guy like Chris Paul, he hasn't won a championship. He's still a Hall of Famer.
It's different though.
How?
I mean, it's just different play style. I feel like Melo's just, I don't know. Everyone says it. He's a ball hog. He really is. He gets that ball, he shoots. There's a difference between him and Kobe. There really is. Kobe just did it well.
Well, I mean, Kobe's no one's comparing Melo to Kobe, but I think Melo still has a lot to give.
You know what? This might be kind of a stretch, but somewhere similar. I feel like Andrew Wiggins and Melo, kind of like that high volume, non-efficient shooting.
Melo's okay. If you look at the stats, Melo and Andrew Wiggins are on different levels, objectively.
I mean, I feel like they're kind of similar.
No, Melo. Okay, Carmelo Anthony, going back to Portland, like, he can take this team to the next level. I mean, Portland's offseason was pretty quiet. You had Hassan Whiteside.
They're struggling right now, by the way. They're what, second to last in the what are they?
They've
third to last in the West.
They've had a pretty hard schedule though, and it's a small sample size.
I mean, yes, they have Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, two great players, of course.
But Portland needs to make a move because Dame is going off right now, and Portland is very close to wasting one of the best point guard talents in history.
If they come up empty, if they don't make us playoff spot, this might, kind of change Damian Lillard's thoughts on the organization. What do you want to leave?
He's set. I think he's set with Portland. He's signed to big contracts. I think he's going to stay with Portland.
I mean, we've seen it already. Players have big contracts. They want that trade. They can request that trade.
Yeah, honestly,
we've seen that.
This thing, the players now have so much power.
I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah,
I don't think this should be in. I feel like it should not be a thing. It really shouldn't.
I don't know.
We didn't see it in the past.
We didn't see it in the past. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
I mean, I feel like players are a lot more loyal. I feel like loyalty is definitely going downhill at the moment.
I feel like loyalty is gone in the NBA, but that's on both sides. Like Danny Ainge trading Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, that was. I mean, that was a. I don't even want to say it, but that was not a fair move for him.
But I think loyalty has gone on both sides, and I feel like as long as it's gone on both sides, it's fair.
Yeah. All right.
Like, NBA teams are going to do what's best for them. The players are going to do what's best for them. At the end of the day, that's even, Steven. I think that's fine.
All right. On another side, on the other hand, we got J.R. Smith and Jamal Crawford still looking for a team. I think those are the two veterans that we're still really looking for a spot. It'd be kind of interesting to see if they land one. Who do you think who's got the bigger chance of landing a NBA team this season?
Jamal Crawford.
You think?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I mean, he's Jamal Crawford. He's got more experience.
No one wants J.R. Smith.
No one wants the Henny God. No one wants the guy who doesn't know what time on the clock is in the finals game.
In the biggest moment of maybe one of the biggest moments of
that
his
changed
NBA
the momentum.
career.
I mean, that completely gave them the Warriors momentum in that series.
Yeah.
That was game one. So
if he doesn't make that mistake, if they win that game,
no, it wouldn't make a difference. Warriors still win the series.
I don't know. Game 1 is a huge deal in these NBA finals.
It's the Warriors.
It's a big momentum shifter.
It's the Warriors.
I don't think it. I think
LeBron
it
was not
gone,
carrying him in that series.
I don't know. We'll see. That's the thing. We'll never know.
Oh, we will never know. J.R. Smith ruined that for us.
Oh, he did. He made a lot of great memes, though. Not gonna lie.
Of course. Of course. J.R. Smith memes, great. Just take your shirt off, J.R. Come on.
Classic. All right, so another.
All right, yeah, this is a little old, this topic, but I mean, it happened 2 weeks ago.
It's still big. I think it's still a big deal. Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns.
I really wish Cat just beat him up, man.
They got into a little bit of a snuggle fest in a game, as Charles Barkley put it.
I need to beat up Embiid. Someone's got to beat him up. Someone's got to shut him up.
Okay, so basically, if you didn't hear about this, Cat and Embiid do not like each other. I mean, they've had
nobody likes
years.
him. No one likes Embiid.
Yeah, Philly fans, I'm sorry. Like, your team, your fan base.
They're kind of jerks, man.
A little bit. Yeah, honestly, a little bit. Like, yeah.
A lot of those players are.
I was gonna call someone out, but I don't want to start any beef, so we're gonna.
Oh damn! All right.
We're gonna leave it like.
We better call it a fan or a player.
A fan.
Oh
We're gonna leave it at that.
All right.
You know who you are.
Oh God.
But I mean,
is the NBA getting softer?
That's what I was gonna say. Is like this is the biggest fight we've had in probably a few years now, maybe.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it wasn't that big of a fight. I mean, we just saw.
Exactly.
Bigger one in the Steelers game.
Okay, yeah, that's a much different sport though. But
Myles
basketball
Garrett,
is like,
come fight me. I'll beat you up right now. Don't touch my quarterback.
These Steelers fans, we won't even touch that. But I mean, like, this was the biggest fight we've had in years, and back in the day, it would have been like no big deal. Back in the day, it would be standard operating procedure. But nowadays, it's like a huge fight. People are getting suspended, and I think the NBA is getting a little too soft.
Well, do you want to see a Malice in the Palace?
Not a Malice in the Palace. I think keep it on
do you
the
want
court.
that back in the NBA?
But the NBA has lost some of its grit. Like, there's no more old-fashioned like rivalries anymore. The closest thing we had to kind of that rivalry was Russ and KD. But like nowadays,
not anymore. They're fine. That was some made-up beef.
Yeah, I think the biggest beef nowadays is probably in LA. But even then, LeBron wants no part of that beef.
You talking about the Clippers and Lakers?
Yeah, LeBron wants no part of that beef.
Who's gonna be beefing on those rosters? Bev's the only one I could see in the Clippers. Paul George and Kawhi are both very timid players. I don't
timid personality wise.
Yeah, like I don't feel like they're gonna be getting any fights. I think the only one that's a problem that possibly is Patrick Beverley because he's known for that. He's known to get under people's skin. Kind of like Embiid. Yeah. He's kind of got the same type of personality as Embiid. Always talking, never stopping.
But I will say I am shocked that LeBron wants no part in this rivalry because he got asked a question early on.
He's not in LA. He's not like into the culture.
He got asked a question and he said like, "What do you think about the rivalry between the Clippers and the Lakers?" And he said like, "There is no rivalry." Like what?
He's calling out the Clippers. That's what he's doing.
This is the biggest rivalry that we've had in the NBA.
He's calling out the Clippers.
He's not though. He wants no part.
He is though. He's calling them. He's saying they're nothing on us. He's saying it's not a rivalry because we're just so much better than them.
They're not.
He's like the Clippers are an awful organization. They have been for years. Never have been in the finals.
They have one of the best owners in the NBA.
They've never been in the finals. He's telling them Lakers have a better organization. They've had the championships. Clippers have not. They're not a problem in LeBron's eyes.
If you watched that interview and if you heard him talk,
I'm just saying little
context clues. That was not what he was going for at all.
It could have been though.
No, they just lost the opening game. He was trying to dilute the situation. I mean, this is the biggest opportunity for a rivalry we've had in history. It's like, why wouldn't LeBron take that? Why though?
Because he's still a kid from Cleveland. He's still a guy, man.
From Akron.
Akron, my bad. Same thing. They're literally like right next to each other.
LeBron is obsessed with his legacy. And that's not a bad thing, but this is a big chance to cement his legacy. If he can go to LA and take on Kawhi and Paul George, and if he can own LA, become the king in LA, that will cement his legacy.
Does he want to be remembered for a player that played on the Lakers? I don't know if he does. I feel like he wants to be remembered as someone from the Cavs, someone from his hometown. I'm not sure he wants to be the guy on the Lakers.
I think that this next stretch will cement LeBron's legacy, because he's had a very, very controversial career so
Will
far.
it though? He's got Anthony Davis on his team, man.
But I think in terms of his personality, in terms of his legacy, I mean, going to Miami, he was hated for that. He kind of recovered a lot of his fans coming back to Cleveland. But then in his first season in LA, or even in his last season in Cleveland, he was extremely dysfunctional. He blamed the management. He blamed his players. He plays the blame game a lot. And so now coming to LA, he has no more excuses. They have the talent. They have the opportunity. If Kawhi beats him at his own game in his own city, LeBron's legacy will be marred for the rest of his life. But if LeBron can beat Kawhi, and if he can take over LA,
which looks like it's happening
city,
at the moment.
We'll see. Paul George just came back, but if he can take over LA and win the championship for LA, for the Lakers, and let everyone in the city know this is a Laker town, LeBron's legacy will receive a massive, massive boost.
I mean, I'm always going to be hitting LeBron. Nothing's going to change my mind.
You got to respect the man. He's done some great work with his school.
Yeah.
But personality-wise,
it's just not, it's not
he's done some
about that type of
questionable
stuff.
things. Do you want to talk about the Rockets versus Wizards game? Just touch on that a little bit.
I mean,
crazy game.
I mean, you could talk about it.
Okay, so the Rockets and Wizards played a game, and it was insane. It ended at 159 to 158 without any overtime.
Oh yes, this game. I'm just now remembering this game. That is one of the biggest, highest score. That's an NBA All-Star game right there. That's a.
Oh yeah, yeah, that is a crazy
That
game.
is putting some big numbers, people.
The thing is this the new look of the modern NBA?
I hope not. I really hope not. I love watching tough defense, tough players. I love watching some big blocks, some good perimeter defensive players. I think that's still important in this game. I love the high volume 3-point shooting, but 159, 158 just shows that no defense was played in that game.
Well, because that's the thing. The Rockets obviously play an extremely, extremely fast-paced style of offense, the Mike D'Antoni system. Do you think that system, that style, is sustainable, and do you think it can win a championship?
I mean, let's see sustainable kind of players-wise. Can these players stay healthy is the real question. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these players who are being load management because they can't take all this work on them.
But okay, so do you think that this style, if healthy, can win a championship, can produce a championship team?
Not in the playoffs.
Really?
I feel like playoffs, you need defense.
I would hesitate to say no, because you look at the old style of NBA. The old style of the NBA thought that to win a championship, you have to have a big paint presence. You have to dominate on the inside and work your way out.
Well, that's different now.
The Warriors proved everyone wrong. The Rockets can prove everyone wrong too.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be tough. I feel like if they're going to win the playoffs, they're going to win all these playoff series and win the NBA Finals, they're going to have to step up their defensive style. They're going to have to keep playing actual defense. They can keep playing that at high pace on offense, but defensive wise, they have to step it up in the playoffs.
They have the capability too. I mean, Harden, when he puts in effort.
Yes, we've seen it. He's pretty decent on defense when he tries.
Yeah, he's underrated on defense. Clint Capella. I feel like every team now needs a big paint presence, except for the Celtics with their Brad Stevens defensive system. But I mean, they have the capability to be stout on defense. But even looking at teams like the Denver Nuggets right now, I mean, the Nuggets have looked somewhat lackadaisical on defense. I feel like a lot of players now.
It's the Nuggets, though.
But I feel like a lot of players now are almost taking defensive possessions off to then exert more energy on offense. And
I mean, you're looking at Jokic being like, Jokic just got to chill out on defense because, he doesn't have the best stamina.
I think his stamina is fine. I just think he's just slow. I mean, objectively, he's slow.
You see him huffing and puffing down that court, man. I mean, he's a big dude playing, 48 minutes a game, basically. He's carrying.
Gosh.
I mean, he's their star player, so he's got to play a lot.
I love Jokic, man. He's such a fun guy.
He's one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. I love watching him play. I mean, he's hated on by a lot of people because they don't like this play style. But I enjoy watching it. I mean, I know he definitely could use some work on stamina-wise to kind of play more efficiently, but he touches that ball a lot on that offense. I think he has one of the highest touch percentages, the highest definitely for a center. He's always involved in the offense. If it's not giving pass assists wise, he's always grabbing rebounds, shooting. He's got a lot of different avenues that he can do with the ball.
And he's shown the capability to make the big shot.
Oh yes, he 2 back-to-back game winners.
Yeah, yes sir. And even his personality. I mean, he said he watched like 45 minutes of Pokemon one night.
Oh, I love Jokic. I love him.
Yeah, you gotta love Jokic. Definitely.
Such
look
a
him
character. I mean, look at that transformation, man. He went from like a 14-year-old obese child who just drank Coca-Cola all day to now he is today, an obese man.
Yeah, no, it is definitely very funny. But even going into like workload, talk about like rest days. What's your opinion on rest days? Like, do you think that should be something?
I hate it.
Really?
I've been to a bunch of Nets games, and I swear to God, I have the worst luck. Like half of those games, their star player wasn't playing.
Dang.
If it was not, I mean, was it D'Lo? One time I went when it was back in the day, one of the like back in the original Nets days. Garnett wasn't playing, Pierce wasn't playing. Like,
Was that injury or was that was load management?
Load management and injury.
Okay.
But recently, I went to like 2 years ago. I went to a Lakers Nets game. I think Lonzo was on load management. A bunch of players. It was just hard to watch. I was like, oh, why am I here?
Yeah, I think from a business perspective and a ticket selling perspective, I do not like.
I mean,
load
you gotta
management,
you gotta at least tell the fans that they're playing or not. I feel like.
But from an NBA competitive standpoint, I totally understand.
But it's a business. It is a business. At the end
It's
of the
a
day, it's a
business,
business. If you're gonna put people on load management, have a schedule or something. Tell the fans, because otherwise they're spending all this money not to watch the players they want to watch.
But you have to think about it from both perspectives. The teams are going to want to be able to have that flexibility. They're not going to want to kind of pigeonhole themselves into these certain decisions.
I know, but I mean, it's hard to spend so much money on a game that it's going to upset
But
the fans.
it's hard to deny the results.
From the fans' perspective, though, it's a business.
Okay, I'm sure if you ask Raptors fans, maybe a Raptors fan went to a game, Kawhi wasn't playing for load management. They're not going to complain when they win the championship.
I would be upset.
won
I'm
the
here to watch
championship.
Kawhi, though.
But you won the championship.
I'm
You're
here
not
to
going to
watch-
complain.
I'm here to watch Kawhi play.
I guarantee you, no Raptors fans.
They're gonna complain. They're gonna be like, "Why did I spend all this money?"
If the results don't come, but if the results come in the playoffs, no fans are going to complain.
But in the moment, it's gonna upset me, man.
I guarantee you, go to Toronto,
No,
fan.
they're gonna be upset that day. They are. I mean, they're spending these tickets are a lot of money.
What's it? It's like short-term pain for long-term success.
I mean, let's be real here. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I feel like they should be more like clear on who's resting. In my opinion, I know it's gonna hurt them because they're gonna be like telling the other team, and they can prepare for not having them. But you know, from the fan standpoint, because at the end of the day, NBA is a business. They're here to make money, and you know, they shouldn't upset the fans. They really shouldn't.
But I mean, from the front office's perspective, from the coach's perspective.
I know. It's gonna help the team in the long run. It's gonna let them be available for the playoffs, and I don't know. It's definitely a hard thing to talk about because you could definitely see both ways here.
Yeah. For a last little thing to talk about, which I think is actually very interesting, the G League currently has a record 42% of NBA players, or 42% of players have G League experience. And I think a big guy to kind of illustrate the G League is Kendrick Nunn, a guy who's technically
Chris Middleton as well. That's
Middleton.
also another big player that came out of there.
Yeah, but I mean, Kendrick Nunn, like, he spent 1 year in the G League. He comes out this year as a quote-unquote rookie, his first year in the NBA, and he's looked extremely poised, very calm and confident. And a lot of times you look at rookies in the NBA, their biggest thing is that the game is too fast for them.
They don't have the experience. They don't have the experience playing a lot of games. College is definitely a different game than the NBA. It just 100% is. Mm-hmm. Pace-wise, you know, they don't have it's not 48 minutes a game. It's, 40 minutes, right?
In college?
Yeah.
It's 40 minutes.
40 minutes, two halves. The pace of the game is completely different than the NBA, and it's just...
And the rigor of the schedule, too. Like,
yes,
your schedule gets,
back-to-back games,
quadrupled or something like that.
Definitely.
And, I mean, most rookies, the biggest challenges is the schedule and the workload and the pace of the game. Give them a year in the G League. They can adjust to that and spend a whole year just adjusting to that and come out next year and have your talent do the talking.
Something that's going to be kind of interesting to look. Are more high school players going to look to the G League more than a college or traditional way to get to the NBA? Mm-hmm. I feel like after seeing this, G League might be a more viable option if they're going to be more successful in the NBA right away.
Yeah, and you look at like R.J. Hampton, LaMelo Ball, both
They're
playing
taking,
overseas.
yeah, they're taking different avenues.
Luka Doncic, his experience showed right away.
Yep, because he played in that competitive league right away. I mean, the NCAA, I know it's competitive, but it's not. You're not playing against players at the same level as some of these players that Luka played against. He's playing against real grown men.
Grown men, yeah.
G League is the same way. You're playing against grown men who are basically in the NBA. Their G League is one of the steps right below, and these players are playing for NBA organizations, and it's the same level of competition.
Yeah, I don't know. College basketball could be on the way out.
I mean, there's still these players who want to get a college degree. In my opinion, they're going to want to stay 4 years. The one and done in college might go away. Those players might take the G League avenue, or more of the international way. As you see, they want to make some money right away.
Yeah, I think even in progression, I think like a year in the G League or a year overseas.
Yes, yeah.
It's more valuable than like a year in college.
Yeah, I think so too. Because also some of these players don't want to go to college. This is not for them.
I mean, their job, if players were to just go to the G League, like their job is to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
They're not a student at that point. They're a basketball player.
Some of these players don't want to focus on school. They want to focus on basketball alone, and that's what I know. I'm not a fan of what he did, but LeVar Ball and the JBA.
Yeah.
That's what JBA. He was trying to kind of promote. You don't have to go to school. He's trying to promote a different way to get to the NBA. Didn't really work.
Idea, though.
It didn't work out, obviously. I think only like 10 players actually got paid for the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he only paid the people that played on the USA team for the JBA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some kind of backlash there. LeVar, what you doing, boy?
Dang, calling him out. All right. With that, should we?
I mean, yeah, I think we focused on a lot of topics we want to talk about. I mean, it was kind of hard to kind of narrow it down what we want to talk about in the last 2 weeks. We're going to be more consistent, hopefully, no more sicknesses. And I think you're going to be able to catch us at next Sunday. We're going to be posting it again. Please follow our social medias down below. We didn't have many people follow us before. I'm going to start tweeting out a lot of stuff that's going on, my opinions on Twitter. So definitely follow us at HoopZone YT.
Link is down below.
Link is down below. Follow us. Thank you to Chris Conti, our producer, once again. His music is also going to be linked down below and at the end of this video. Click on that, listen to it, because the Doc and the Duke and the Doc is they know what they're doing over there.
Yes, sir.
They playing some good music.
They helped us out with that fire intro.
Oh yes, that intro though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Oh yeah. Sure, so also comment any topics you want us to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next time.
See you next time.